Welcome to this Maxified tutorial. Today we're going to dig into the Monte Carlo risk analysis a little bit. If you have premium or professional version, you will see the Monte Carlo risk analysis option. And when we select that, we typically begin by aligning these three strategies, the base, the safe, and the risky, with investment strategies that work with those labels. So with the base strategy, we might choose moderate. In the safe strategy, we might choose always conservative. And in the risky strategy, we might choose always aggressive. From there, we would just go to our spending behavior setup and run the analysis. But I want to focus here on just what this distinction means between assets and investment strategies and show you some basic ways to manage those and create new assets and new investment strategies. It's helpful to begin by taking a peek into just what is going on behind one of these strategies. So I can pick here for always conservative, for example, and click the View Detail button and see that the always conservative strategy is 20% U.S. stock index, 80% U.S. bond index. If I look at the always moderate, I see it's a 50-50 mix of stock and bond. And if I look at the always aggressive strategy, I see an 80% stock and 20% bond. Investment strategies are made up of asset classes, and we can look more closely at one of the assets by clicking this detail button and seeing that the total stock index asset is made up of this return history. But now let's begin to think about what we would do if we want to modify these a little bit, and we look at our always aggressive strategy, for example, and see that it's 80-20, but imagine that we want to customize that or change that to become a 90-10 strategy instead of an 80-20. Well, the quickest and easiest thing to do is to open that as I just did and click Customize. It asks us to rename that, so I'm going to name it Really Aggressive. And then I simply edit and change what's 80 to 90. And then, of course, I need to edit the bond side and change what's 20% to 10%. And save that. And now I have a 90-10 strategy, but I need to apply that. So here I'm now going to choose Really Aggressive in place of my always aggressive. When I view the detail now, I can see that that's a 90-10 ratio. I can also, if I like, edit this label up here to remind myself of what I'm looking at. And then, of course, go from there and run that risk analysis. But here's another option. Let's say when I look at that, I say, well, that's pretty close to what I have, a 90-10 stock bond, but I want to be a little more specific. I want the stock index to be replaced with the actual mutual fund that I own. And imagine, say, that I own Fidelity's Contra Fund, and I want to replace the stock index with Fidelity's Contra Fund asset. So first of all, I could look in my Manage Assets and look at my assets. I see I have this group of dimensional funds, but again, I don't own dimensional, I own Fidelity, and obviously Fidelity's Contra Fund is not listed there among the core asset classes. So I need to make a new custom asset. In order to do that, I need just like I would have here. I need a year and a return for as long a history as I could get. I could go to financeyahoo.com and search for my Fidelity Contra Fund. Go down here to Performance. There's my annual return history from the current year 2020. In this case, it's a nice long history all the way back to 1968. Now, normally what I would do here is I need the year and I need the return. And typically, my first thought would be to select that table, copy it, go here to my Excel sheet. But I discover what happens is when I try to paste that in, it's not going to paste in correctly because it's a little hard to explain, but that table at Yahoo is not really built as an HTML table. So this would take quite a bit of cleanup. You can see I didn't copy the whole table. I knew what was going to happen here. And so that particular table is not going to do me much good in terms, unless I wanted to, say, print this out and just manually enter the year and the return. But I have another option. I can go to portfoliovisualizer.com and backtest a portfolio, and I'm going to ask for my ticker FCNTX, and it found the Fidelity Contra Fund, and I'm going to enter that I have just that one fund at 100%. I'll click Analyze that. Then up here I can choose to look at the annual returns. Now the history here isn't quite as long, but 85 to 2019 is adequate to get a pretty substantial record of the returns on that fund. Now, if I were a paying customer at Portfolio Visualizer, I would log in and be able to use the Excel download, but I'm not. So I'm limited to just having to copy this table to the clipboard on my computer and come over here back to Excel and now try pasting this in this way. Yeah, okay, so that worked. Now I have to remind myself, I know I need the year, but I don't need the inflation column, so I'll just delete that. And I don't need these two columns, so I guess I could delete those or just ignore them. I'll delete them. But now I have here the year and the return, and so I'm going to copy this set to my clipboard, return to Maxify, and go to Manage My Assets and indicate that I want to create a new asset. So this will be Fidelity Contra Fund, FCNTX, I think it was. I captured the nominal returns, and instead of entering the return history manually, like here, I'm going to import the return history and simply paste those from my clipboard, click Import, and it's just notifying me that it skipped 2020. It won't take a partial year, which is fine. So there I have it. I have from 85 to 2019, and I can save that. So now I have a new asset called Fidelity Contra Fund that I can work with and use it to build or modify my investment strategies. So I have this really aggressive investment strategy, and I want to edit this. I could edit this and come in here and choose instead the new assets Fidelity Contra Fund, and I'm done. So now when I view that detail, I've got the Contra Fund instead of the total stock index. That would be true of everywhere that I've used, that I've modified, really aggressive. Now, it's possible that I change my mind and want to create a new super aggressive investment strategy that's 100% contra fund. And in order to do that, I could, again, view the detail. Maybe this time I don't want to throw away or overwrite really aggressive. I just want to start by duplicating it, rename it. Okay, now I just need to change this to 100% and delete the total bond and save that. And so now I have options. I can do super aggressive or really aggressive. I could do that. I could also, of course, modify these in different ways. I could modify the super aggressive by editing it and indicate that at age 75, for example, I want to go back to 80%, and at 85 I want to be at 80%. But of course, now it wants to know. What do I want to do with the other 20%? So, say with the other 20%, I'm going to go to back to my total U.S. bond index. It's already guessed what I want here. So you can see that I'm 100% contra fund through age 74, and then starting at age 75, I go to an 80-20. And so that's the way that I just modified the super aggressive. Now, I might want to edit this back to just risky, or whatever makes sense to me when I read the reports, and I'm ready to go. That's how you create new custom assets and then combine them to make new customized strategies. I hope this has been helpful.